Hey guys, my name is Anton Mikhailov. I work in the research and development department, working on the PlayStation Move, and I wanted to show you guys some cool demos. Alright, so this first demo just shows you the raw data coming out of the Move. So you can see all the 3D tracking, all the angles, and I'll do some stress tests so you guys can see exactly, can keep up with me even though I move very quickly. If I move very slowly and precisely, it can also sense all those motions. So we call this a high dynamic range tracker because it can work over large speeds or also very precisely over small speeds. As you can see, I can capture any kind of motion that I want. So I can sort of juke around and hit him from the top, or I can slice left or the right. What's interesting is, for kind of like a hardcore sword fighting game, you can actually use the T button to vary the strength of the grip. So I used to do fencing, and it's very important to keep your wrists sort of flexible during parts, but also to tense it during other parts. I'm actually using the T button on the back to spout flames from my fingers. And I can actually take this and create a very tight, small fireball and toss it, or I can make a big area of effect fireball, just kind of throw that. Traditionally, motion games have been that you replace an action with a gesture. So you're still doing button presses in the end. You're kind of, instead of pressing X to jump or pressing X to attack, you just swing an arm in a specific way to attack. But here the big distinction is that you can now do way more different kinds of attacks, so you get a lot more expressivity in your motions. It's not just about now using your body to control the game. This is about actually giving more input to the game. Here I'm using the Move with my right hand to control a cursor on the screen. And with the analog button, I can now vary the size of my brush, so to speak. I found that painting the units sort of with a brush-like selector actually works much better. So if I want to select these 4 units, I just do a quick swipe with a large brush, versus if I just want to select this 1 unit, I just do a quick swipe with a small brush. And with the navigation controller, I can now slide around the terrain. And wherever I point my cursor, that's where it will zoom in. So that lets me very quickly get around the map. So I can go from here to there just by zooming out and pointing my cursor there. Or in the macro view, I can use the same size brush to now select very large patterns. So if I wanted to take all my units from the left side and send them over to the right, I could also do that. So this next demo is a more complex version of what you might see in a 3D environment. So here I actually have some chameleon hands and some branches, and I can use these hands to reach into the scene and move around these branches. And this is a really intuitive way to navigate 3D space, especially when you have to move around a large unstructured environment, something where you can't necessarily decide for the user where to jump or where to move to. You can just jump to this branch or jump to that one, and the game has no idea where I'm about to go. And in 3D, this is also very compelling because you get that extra depth perception. Since the Move tracks in 3D, it's going to be a very powerful combination to combine this with a 3D display. So in this demo, we're going to do some modeling. So I actually used to do pottery, and here is a piece of marble that I have held with one of my controllers, and the other one's going to be my tool. So I can do these kind of complex swirly gestures, or I can spin it really quickly, so that way I can actually make something a little bit more coherent. So, and I can go in and I can actually now start painting it. If you've ever kind of hated playing around with sliders in RPGs and just wanted to make your own custom guy, imagine putting that on top of your avatar. This next demo is sort of a futuristic interface you might consider, where I can use the controllers in sort of a multi-touch way to create windows, and I can use them to move them around. This is really interesting because even multi-touch devices aren't able to do this kind of 3D interaction with both angles and position. You can imagine this video feed being something else. So for example, I can have a video chat with someone else, or maybe a movie. And over here, I can have a poster of favorite characters, for example. And up in front, I can start to look maybe at websites, rearrange it, bring things forward. Say I want to look at this video more, I can bring it forward, or I can say, I'm not interested in this anymore, I'll just throw that away. And here I can use it like a camcorder, like we were talking before. And in this view, again, I can reach in and grab things and manipulate them more precisely. So here's a demo where we're actually using the PlayStation Eye to track my head, and then using the moves to track my hands. And using all this data together, we can actually assemble the upper body skeleton. So here I can actually, get into a fighting stance, and so I can use this to crush things. Or here, another one of my favorites is claws. You can use something to dice them up. All right, so here's a look of it, what the TV looks like to me when I'm doing the head tracking. You can't really tell from a third person, but it's this way you can kind of hopefully get a feel for the 3D effect that I can get. So I'm sort of looking through the TV as if it's a window rather than something that's just in front of me. So I hope you enjoyed the demos and you can get a feel for what's possible with the PlayStation Move and what you can expect from future games.